Am I the asshole for telling my mom why she had kids? I, 17F, am still in high school and live in an area where it's really hard to get a job. I don't have a car because there's no money for driving school. Recently my mom, 37, told me she's not going to buy food anymore because we're all grown and everyone has to buy their own food. This started after she asked my brother, 19, who works and also gets to use her car to get to work, to give her $100 to buy food since we rely on SNAP and the government shut it down. He refused, so she decided she's not buying food for anyone and that everyone has to fend for themselves. I completely lost it when she told me this and said, "Why did you even have kids? Why have kids if you're poor and just end up regretting them?" She always talks about how we ruined her life, so I just snapped. I asked why, at 17, broke and having to take care of her own family, she decided to have kids anyway. Kids that she trauma dumps on every chance she gets. She always lets my brother have his way and then gets mad at the rest of us. In the heat of the argument, I also told her that if she really didn't want us, she should have just aborted us or never had us in the first place. I said that if she really wanted to punish someone, it should be my brother, since he's the one who refused to help in the first place. She went on to say, "I should have. You guys are grown. I already raised you. I know what I said was rude and disrespectful, but it's just so hard not to be when I'm this angry and hurt." Edit. My mom and I spoke again about the matter. She said that she was just stressed, and that she actually didn't mean it. She found some help with our food situation for now, and I told her about the food banks. Not the asshole. You're not grown. You're a minor. She is legally and morally responsible for you. If you're that fed up with her, call CPS. Please call CPS on your mother, and also alert your guidance counselor at school. In the meantime, visit a food bank. Call CPS and not the asshole. Not the asshole. You're not grown, you're a minor, and she's still responsible for you. Tell your guidance counselor at school what's happening. Not the asshole. Your mother is being abusive, plain and simple. Not the asshole. Tell your mom you understand, she was speaking irrationally. But if she refuses to feed you, that you will tell the adults at your school, counselor, teacher, etc., that you aka she are refusing to feed you. They are required by law to contact CPS, and that CPS will investigate and might find her possibly complicit if neglecting you, which can find her facing criminal charges. Am I the asshole for kicking out a family that gate crashed a private party? I booked a soft play for my son's birthday party. It has both public sessions and private sessions. I obviously booked one of the private sessions and didn't interfere with the usual times it's available to the public. When I opened the buffet, a woman I didn't know approached me, asking if her children could have some. I explained I had booked the venue for a private party. She said, "That doesn't matter, my children want some food." I replied no because the food was for the party. She walked away telling her children to just wait until I had left the food area. Realizing she wasn't taking my answer, I asked staff to speak to her. They did, explaining it was a private event and they needed to leave. She shouted that her and her children were not leaving and that I should be told to allow the children to have the food. I went back over, said again it was a private event, and she shouted, "What is a sandwich?" repeatedly at me, until I shouted back that she needed to leave. She did eventually leave, flicking the verses at me as she walked out the door. The soft play wasn't at capacity, and in truth, there probably was enough for them to have some of the buffet, but the way she approached me with the assumption I'd say yes, and then blatantly planning to disregard my answer made me stand my ground. So am I the asshole for kicking out the gate crashers? Edit. Okay, so first of all, I did not expect this to literally blow up the way it has. I thought a couple of people would say yes or no, and that would be it, grinning face with sweat. Apologies for the long edit, but there's been a few themes within comments, so I'll try to address them. A soft play is a massive indoor climbing frame covered in padding and safety nets, with slides and ball pits, etc. I think some may call it a jungle gym, but I'm not sure that is a direct comparison. Flicking the versus is a peace sign, but showing the back of your hand. About the same level of rude as giving the middle finger in the UK. The venue shares a desk with an adjoining sports hall, which wasn't running open sessions as it was hosting a game. Past the desk is the exit. It's one door in, one door out thing. Door 1 to the soft play, door 2 to the sports hall. I found out later she had come to use the sports hall and was told about the game. Staff thought she went out the exit. I've spoken to the venue about her being able to get in, and they apologized and are changing how they operate the private sessions. Despite this happening, I think the place has appropriate security measures. I think she took advantage of staff being busy letting in spectators to the sports hall and tried her luck. As we have an invite for a party here in a few weeks, I'll know if they do and can raise it again if needed, but hopefully won't need to. I went back over when the staff member was talking to her because I felt bad that I put a young girl in the firing line. This woman was just shouting that she wasn't leaving, and I also hadn't spotted them come in, but I should have let her manager sort it. This is in the UK. This wasn't a food stamps have been taken and chance a free meal or starve tonight situation. When she eventually left, she brought snacks out of the overpriced vending machine. That obviously doesn't tell any of us her full story, but the venue has like 10 places with a few minutes walk where much more affordable snacks and food choices are. Some people asked about the kids' ages. Top age of an invited child was 5. Her 2 kids were August 9th and September 10th. I replied to a couple of comments that I would have told her the kids could have some after all the guests had eaten, if it had been a question and not a demand. I am responsible for my actions, but they were influenced by hers, and I am glad I stood my ground and wasn't bullied at my own event, although not proud that I did shout at the end. Again, I didn't expect this would get so much attention, but to those who were polite and asked questions, thank you. To anyone who asked, why are you even asking? Or similar, I was asking to gauge if I was unreasonable for standing my ground because of her actions/reactions. Maybe this was the wrong sub. I'm not very Reddit savvy. Apologies if I put it in the wrong place. And for anyone who thinks I made it up. I don't know what to tell you. It happened, and I'm glad you've not encountered a similar experience before and or can't believe it. Just a guess, but she probably would have complained that her kids' picky eating or food allergies weren't being accommodated. You did the right thing. Not the asshole. Yeah, maybe don't sink to their level and shout. But that lady can shove her entitlement. Sure, what's a sandwich? But how does she know if you only had enough for those attending? Also, shame on the establishment that you had to handle it at all. They should have immediately intervened. Not the asshole. She's teaching her kids terrible lessons. Not the asshole, no clue what a soft play is, but I'm assuming some kind of kid playground thing. You booked yourself a space and brought/paid for food for your invited guests. This would be the same as somebody demanding entry into your home because they could smell your dinner from the street. Obviously not the asshole. You are not entitled to things you didn't pay for? What other possible answer is there? Not the asshole. This lady sounds like an entitled mooch and is teaching her kids that the world owes them. You are totally in the right. Am I the asshole for getting my friend fired from her job? So my friend and I, 22F, both work in retail. I had planned for weeks with my boyfriend to go home during the weekend so we could visit my family. 2 weeks ago on Friday, my friend called me and told me that the guy she was speaking to had invited her last minute to a desert party and she wouldn't be able to make her shift, so she asked me to cover it for her. I had that Friday off, and my boyfriend and I were planning on leaving early since the drive is like around 4 or 5 hours. I told her I can't cover for her, and she got really upset. She ended up telling our manager that she had a family emergency and that I said I'd cover for her. So when my manager called me and asked me why I wasn't at work since my friend said I would be working her shift, I told her the truth, and my friend ended up getting fired. Now she's really upset with me because she's saying I threw her under the bus. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Your friend is not a friend. She lied and used you. If anything, she threw you and your workplace under the bus. You had every right to say no, you had plans, and you should tell your boss the truth. She might have some nice qualities, but I were you, I would not consider her a friend anymore. Correction. She got herself fired by missing her shift and lying to the boss. Not the asshole. She jumped in front of the bus herself. You told her no. She chose to ignore it. That was her lying down, closing her eyes and hoping the bus was miss her. She guessed wrong. What did she expect you to do? Lie down with her? Not the asshole. Maybe the desert guy can get her a job. Not the asshole. And that's not a real friend you have there. She got fired because she lied and missed work, not because you didn't cover for her. Not the asshole. She threw you under the bus first. You just accidentally ran her over. Face with tears of joy. Not the asshole. She lied to the boss. She threw you under the bus. Am I the asshole for demanding that my husband pick my needs over his parents and let them feel cold for a bit? I, 35F, am currently 37 weeks pregnant and due for a planned C-section at the end of the week, due to some complications with my baby. My husband's, 35M, parents are here to help with the newborn baby. Since they have come through, all that has happened is that I now have to cook for 4 instead of 2 and clean up after everyone. But these are not the major issues. The issue is that they can't stand the cold. It's currently autumn where I am and going into winter. I warned them before they came that it will be cold. The house is heated to 20°C, but that doesn't seem to be enough for them. And she complains about the cold at least 5 times a day. Now I have been running hot, probably because of the pregnancy, and 20°C is borderline too much for me. I'm walking around in my summer clothes. I've asked them, and given them, extra layers to put on so they feel warmer, which until yesterday she refused to put on. Last night they visited some relatives, and I didn't go, as I was feeling too tired, and she took the opportunity to complain to my husband about how cold she's been feeling. So the moment he came home at night, he turned on the heater. I warned him that it would get too hot at night for me, but he said what else was he supposed to do, and kept the heater on. He turned it off before he slept, but it was so hot for me last night that I sweated through my clothes and bedclothes. And it isn't just this. When I said that we shouldn't have outside visitors till the baby gets his vaccinations, because of his complications, and that no one should be allowed to kiss him on the face, he argued with me over it, saying that if someone was sick they would let us know, and only that person could be excluded. He did the same with me when I said that the midwives insisted that the baby should be sleeping in a room no warmer than 20°C. He argued with me that the kids in the tropics sleep in warmer rooms. And when his mom randomly dropped in the middle of a casual conversation that she was going to be carrying out an old tradition for the baby on the 28th day, he didn't even object and just accepted it. Now we had discussed this particular tradition previously, and he was totally against it then. But when his mom brought it up, he said that if she does it, it won't hurt anybody and it'll make her happy, which is true. But I said that if we don't set any boundaries in the beginning, then more and more of these traditions will crop up. What pisses me off about the things like the visitors is that I'm only saying it to protect the baby, and it could actually harm the baby, and he still argues with me about it. He says it's just a discussion, but to me it feels like he thinks I'm being irrational and paranoid. I told him that I don't feel like he's on my team, and I'm being forced to do all the adjusting while he looks after his parents' comfort. He says I should just adjust for a while till they can adjust to being here. Am I overreacting here? Am I the asshole? Edit 1. My husband has been generally supportive throughout my pregnancy and the complications we've had with the baby. His parents are nice people, and I generally like them. They've traveled halfway across the world to be here, and can't be told to go back just like that. He's trying to keep the peace, but all compromises seem to be falling on me. Edit 2. Usually it would have been my folks who came to help, but my mum passed away a couple of years ago, and my sister will be here in February to help out. Oh honey, you having to cook for 4 people instead of 2, and doing all the cleanup already is a major issue. You are heavily pregnant. You should be the one catered to, and not the one catering. Your husband is clearly a mommy's boy. He has repeatedly shown he will choose his mother over you. You need at least one person in your life who will put you first. He isn't that person, so be that person for yourself. Stop putting up with this nonsense. Edit, not the asshole. Stop cooking. Instead of receiving help, I'm cooking and cleaning for 4, not 2, and you've prioritized your mom's refusal to put a sweater on over your 38-week pregnant wife. The help you're promising isn't going to be them grabbing the baby. It's going to be cooking, cleaning, grocery shopping, laundry, yard work, right? Use your voice. I don't need your help with the baby. I need all the floors swept and the garbage taken out and your guest bedroom tidied. You have a husband problem. Tell him either they're here to help, so he and they do the laundry, shopping, cooking, and cleaning, or they leave and he does these tasks. You're done caring for 2 extra people. You could make him wear a 50-pound vest for the weekend. Can't take it off, so he gets a very, very small taste of what you're going through. Go to your parents and remain there until his parents leave. And allow no rituals. Not the asshole. But if his parents are there to help, what exactly are they helping with if you're doing all the cooking and cleaning while they complain about the temperature? Edit. Your husband also needs to learn that keeping the peace with difficult people only comes at the expense of your own. If they are there to help, why are you doing all the work? His mom can't cook? Husband can't cook or clean up. You will notice I didn't include his father in cooking because he is the reason husband doesn't cook. They want to be treated like guests, not family willing to help. Time for them to leave.